Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I've got something pretty cool. I don't know about you guys, but I've always been a semi-auto pistol guy. I grew up shooting revolvers that my dad had, but the semi-autos seemed just better. You know, more rounds, you could shoot quicker. You know, it just seemed better. But they have limitations as far as power goes without spending a bunch of money. And recently I wanted a revolver, that kind of a multi-use revolver for target shooting, plinking, silhouette, and defense. And so I decided to go with the 38 Special 357. And this is what I bought. This is the Taurus Tracker. Um, I've had this for a couple weeks. It comes with the normal stuff, the manual, blah blah blah, shipping, packing doodads. It comes with this kind of neat thing. It's a rubber guard for the rear sight blade, which is kind of handy. Keeps you from accidentally messing up your sight picture or your zero. But and another thing, anyone who isn't familiar with Taurus, the newer versions of the Taurus guns, semi-autos and revolvers both have the Taurus security system, which is a built-in gun lock and sort of a built-in trigger lock. They work in different ways. The semi-automatic ones are a little more complicated, but this is really simple. It just has a sort of a hex head. This is like an Allen wrench with a hole drilled in the center, and that's all it is. So you can find these bits at your local hardware store, but it goes in that little guy there, and then like a quarter, 3/8 turn, half turn. It says a half turn, and that little nub protrudes. And what it does is it prevents you from being able to cock the hammer or operate the trigger. So, and another thing, another safety feature of the Taurus, or this Taurus, oh, by the way, this is a Taurus Tracker model 627, 38 Special 357 Magnum 6.5-inch barrel. Transfer bar. There's a little bar in there, a little tab. That tab goes up in front of the firing pin. The hammer, you see that protrusion there? That protrusion on the top hits the receiver, and the firing pin's below that. The hammer cannot hit the firing pin. It's physically designed to where the firing pin would fall in that space below that nub on the top. It cannot strike the firing pin. That transfer bar is what the hammer hits, and in return, it's the firing pin. When the gun is not cocked and the trigger not pulled, that transfer bar goes down. So even if you have the gun cocked, and if you drop it, or if you drop it like it is now, there's nothing to hit the firing pin. There's no way to force that hammer into the firing pin to discharge the gun by accident, like by dropping it or by some sort of failure or something breaking. And I really like that. Like I say, 6.5-inch barrel. It has the cool vented ribbed portion of the upper part of the barrel there, which is, I say, mainly cosmetic, but I mean, it might aid in cooling. Now, something that's not cosmetic only, although it does look cool, are these compensator ports on either side of the barrel there, and those are functional and they work well. There is Taurus has what they call their expansion chamber at the end of the barrel, and it lets the gases kind of swell out a little bit as the bullet leaves the barrel, and then part of the gases come out of those ports, and it keeps your muzzle level and flat. A lot less muzzle, almost no muzzle jump, even with really hot loads. And so that's a really great feature. It's not just cosmetic; it doesn't just look cool. Although when you shoot it, it looks like a dragon, but it was really functional. I can shoot silhouettes, and my follow-up shots are dead on and they're quick. So I mean, it's a really nice feature. Another cool thing and unusual thing about this gun is it is a 7-shot. There's a 7-shot revolver there. There's 7 holes of that guy, and more rounds, more gooder. Anyway, my kids say that. Sorry. So I mean, 7 rounds, great thing. Another thing you can do, some models you can buy and they come with this, but you can get a 9mm 9 by 18, yeah, 9mm Luger round revolver cylinder. You get a cylinder, just shoot regular 9mm out of it, and for less expensive plinking. Now, most people have a 9mm laying around, most gun guys, and so I don't really see the point of that. But hey, I mean, to each his own. So like I say, this one did not come with it. Some models do come with that extra barrel. I'm not sure what the model number is. This is the model 627. There's a whole slew of them. The 6 series are all similar. The Tracker, this is a 6.5-inch barrel. There's also a 4-inch and I think either 3 and or a 2-inch barrel, snub nose with a bobbed hammer and the fixed sights and all that to be a pocket pistol or a carry pistol. The trigger in this thing, when I first got it, was one thing I did not like was the trigger pull. Trigger was heavy. I don't have a trigger gauge, but man, the double action. I mean, I don't know anybody that uses the double action portion or ability of a revolver. Only purpose I could see in that would be in an offensive situation. You need a quick follow-up shot, but the single action trigger brake was, man, it had to have been 10 pounds. It had to have been. It was really heavy. And that's after I cleaned everything and I polished the sear and hammer faces with a fine grit polishing compound, and it was still really heavy. So I purchased a Wolfe reduced power spring set, and for this model, and it was a really good deal. It was like $12 shipped, delivered, and it came with 3 different power weights of springs for the trigger return and the hammer spring. It's really easy to put in. There's one screw, the grip slides off, 3 screws, 2, one here, one there. And this plate pops off, and then you cock the hammer and you put a little pin through the bar that's in the center of the hammer spring. You let the hammer down, it keeps the spring compressed, lift it right out. Similar with the trigger return spring. So I mean, there's instructions come with the Wolfe spring kit. There's plenty of videos to show you how to do it. It's not hard. And so I put the 11-pound hammer spring and 10-pound trigger spring in, which is on the lighter side. I think there might be one. I think there was a 10-pound hammer spring. I didn't want to end up having light primer strikes. I haven't tried it yet either. This is just recently, but it definitely improved the trigger pull and the weight. Definitely, I'd say it cut it by half. It's probably 4 to 5 pounds now, where it was. It had been 10. I mean, it had been. It was heavy. So I'm anxious to give that a try. Problem with any handgun right now is ammo. Can't find it, or if you do, it's ridiculously expensive in limited quantities. I've been reloading precision rifle cartridges for a while, but when the COVID thing started, I decided I should probably go ahead and get everything I needed to load the handgun calibers that I shoot, other than rimfire, of course. So I've got the stuff for 9mm and 45 ACP, and now 38 Special 357 Magnum. If you're going to go the reloading route, find small pistol primers first. They are almost non-existent right now. It's almost non-existent. You can find them on Gunbroker, but the prices they're going for are just plain out offensive. So don't go out and buy the dies and the bullets and shells and stuff until you find the primers, because that's going to be the weak link in that system there. Anyway, if you're fortunate enough to have small pistol primers, or if you can find some, the 38 Special 9mm and 45. This is my go-to powder. I use a Winchester W231. That's a good powder. It's a little fast, but I really like power pistol for 9mm and 45, and as it turns out, also for 38 Special. It gives you more case fill, and I don't know, it seems to be more persistent, cleaner burn than some of the other powders out there. Now, when it comes to the 357 Magnum, and this is an issue, small pistol primers are hard to find period right now. But even before COVID, small Magnum pistol primers were very hard to find. And I mean, they're out there, but just almost never on a shelf anywhere. Even my favorite reloading shop didn't have them. And so that was always an issue. And if you use something like Magnum 110 or Tight Group, I'm not sure what Tight Group. I mean, if you use the Magnum pistol powders, most of them, particularly the Magnum brands, require a Magnum primer. Alliance A2400 does not. And that's what I love about this powder. It's a spherical powder. It meters great, gives you good high velocity loads if you're looking for that, and it works great with a regular pistol primer. Here's some I loaded recently: 125 grain jacketed hollow point and 158 grain full metal jacket semi-wad cutter. And using the A2400, I'm at 16 grains even for the 125 grain and 13.5 grains for the 158 grain bullet. And I'm getting, looks like 1370 feet per second with the 125 grain projectile, and right at 1200 feet per second for the 158 grain projectile, which is still pretty darn fast. That's, I think max charge on the 125s is 17.5 grains. And I loaded some at those pressures, and I was getting right at 1500 feet per second, which is super hot. The gun handled it fine. My palm and hands, maybe not so much. I mean, it's a load. So I backed it down to this. This is my plinking round. This is my plinking charge. I've also loaded the 125s. There's load data available for the power pistol for the 38 specials and for the 357 in the 125 grain jacket hollow point. And 9.5 grains is what I used for these 125 grain projectiles, and that's pretty hot. It's I think that was like 1390, 1410, still pretty darn hot load. But you have a lot of empty case, you have a lot of air in there, and I know pistol cartridges typically have quite a bit of unused case volume. I don't like it. I'm a rifle reloader, and I want full as much. I want the most case feel I can get and still get the velocity and burn rates that I need. And so it just bothers me having a bunch of air in there. I in my mind, all the powder's in the front of the bullet for some reason. The primer goes off, and I just have a squib. But anyway, that's not ever actually happened to me. But the power pistol is really too fast for the 357. It is good for 38 special. I have loaded some. I don't have any here ready to show you. All the information I shared with you on reloading is for entertainment purposes, not instructive. And I say that these are good loads. They work great for me. Every gun's different. Every casing is different. The internal volume can differ quite a bit. Every lot of powder is different. Every primer lot is different. You have to develop your loads yourself. You have to do it in a safe manner. You've got to start with 10% below max load and work your way up. And just please do that. I've seen guys blow up guns with hot loads before. I've seen it happen. And fortunately, no one was seriously hurt. They could be. And you can't mess around with it. Anyway, that's my quick look at the Taurus Model 627 357 Magnum. We'll put it up for the camera one more time so you get a good close-up of it. I think it's a really handsome gun. It's nothing you'd want to carry, I think, but it's not really heavy. It's considered a mid-size or medium frame, and it's not real heavy, but it's not exactly light, and it's certainly a little too cumbersome for any kind of concealed carry there. But really happy with it. Anyway, that's that. Thanks for watching.